702.
Series Edition.
The Fem Effect Series Edition with me, Relebogile Mabotja, is brought to you by Femagene. Choose care that empowers. Choose Femagene. Care for all the woman you are every day. And for today, we're joined by Aurelia Hlobsile Nxumalo, who is just a force to be reckoned with. A legal professional, digital creator, and devoted mother who is making her mark across platforms. Whether she's standing up in court or speaking to thousands online, Aurelia leads with purpose. She's built a brand based on empowerment, using her voice to educate, uplift, and spark real conversations about womanhood, ambition, and self-care. Those are things that are right up my personal alley. And as part of Femagene's #FemEffect campaign, Aurelia joins us to explore how young professionals can stay true to themselves while chasing big goals, only right here on 702 Afternoons. Aurelia, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, firstly, can we talk about the legal professional part? Because, ma'am, what made you want to go into that space?
It's funny enough, I actually had an opportunity when I was in grade 11. You know, when they come to school and they've got the career days and all of that.
Yes.
And I fell in love with law at that point. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in respect of law, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is where I want to be.
From that far back?
From that far back. I was actually even started vacation work.
Yes.
From grade 11 through to grade 12. And even in my first and my second year, I was already doing vacation work while I was studying.
And I think it's so great that you were able to already discover early on.
Yes.
Because that helps to give you some kind of direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In terms of now the digital content creator part, when did that come into the picture?
Oh, geez. It came when did we start Instagram and the likes?
When they started in South Africa is when you started.
Exactly. So I think mine, I think it was accidental. So it wasn't intentional in building, following. Whereas right now, obviously with content creators and content creation or being an influencer was never a thing when we started, You're just starting it out because it was fun and it's how you connect with your friends and your family. And I actually come from Durban, where most of my friends were already in the media space. And by virtue of that, then you get people that follow them, then they start following me.
Yes.
And then they're like, you know what?
The power of association.
Absolutely. So I think maybe that was the start of it. And then I got to a point where I was like, how can I utilize this to share my own message? And I used to have a platform called The Professionista and a blog called Pass the Baton, where it was about connecting professional women in the corporate space, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced. So I wanted to be the middleman to connect and also teach while I'm also on the rise, while I'm learning from those that are ahead of me. Those that are behind me are also learning from me in the process and making those connections and being the plug.
Did you feel it was important to use your platform to speak about issues that also pertain to you just being a woman beyond the professional part? I mean, I think particularly with digital creation, I'm the person who went the opposite way, which is start in broadcasting and then go into the digital space and try and figure out, okay, how do I want to use the space, right?
Yes.
And I think like you, when you start, you're just having fun and then you're like, okay, I think I need to think about this.
Yes, absolutely.
There's too many followers now. Now we need to be intentional. So my new vibe is I record as soon as I wake up. When you still have the talk in your eyes, and then I'll be like, okay, this is the motivation for the morning. Or I'll be like, I'm suffering. I mean, yesterday I think I posted to say, my child is already outside. I'm giving him away because he took everything out the fridge and spilled it on top of the
school holidays
table.
Or not a school going
homesick. And you're like, fodile, you are better. So I chose that it must be onkinto. See the real thing. How did you decide what your strategy is, and how do you approach it? Because sometimes we want to look pretty and curated, and other times you're like, I get the motherhood thing, I'm retiring.
Absolutely. So I think with me, especially with the professional space, I used to post a lot when I was at work, and I was at MultiChoice at that time, I believe. And
Is that where I know you from?
so I used to take pictures of my outfits, when there was that time of outfits of the day.
Yes.
And then after that, I was like, you know what? I could actually make this a thing, hence professionista. So I'm a fashionista. And in the professional space and in the corporate space. And yeah, so I think that's how it started. Then I needed to be now strategic, that it's not just about fashion, because I've got this huge network in which I can connect women in corporate and we can learn from each other. And if I want the next role, I used to go, well, it's not Indeed anymore, but I go to LinkedIn now, for instance, to be like, okay, if my next role is going to be head of policy, what do I need to do?
Yes.
And then that's how my strategy in terms of work. And then I took that and put it also in my strategy on social media, where it's okay, you need to actually now carve out this professional and this corporate woman who's going to be a thought leader. And who knows, it might be in Forbes someday.
Yo, not might, will.
Yes.
We say will.
I receive.
Okay, we need to take a break. And when we come back, let's talk balance, because where does the self-care enter the picture? 16 minutes after 2 o'clock.
702.
Series Edition.
20 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue with our series edition. Hashtag Fem Effect with Femagene. Actually, go out to the socials and search hashtag Fem Effect on TikTok and see all of the other conversations that were had on that space. We're still chatting to legal professional, digital creator and mom, Aurelia Nxumalo, who has been sharing how she got into the legal space, how she evolved in the digital content creator space. But we don't need to ask you how you became a mom, because we know.
My parents and my grandparents
They
will
don't
have
know.
you believe. Will have you believe otherwise.
Listen, I tell everybody the same thing. I went to the hospital and there was a baby waiting for me there.
I
And
just
then
went there.
came back
I
home.
sneezed too far.
I love it. So now, how do you do the balancing?
I don't.
I said to someone the other day, how are you coping with this? And they're like, I'm not.
So I think with the balancing, and as a woman, you've always been raised, and all the books you'll read or any sort of motivation will say, balance this, balance that. I believe in harmony. So harmony is about finding a perfect balance or harmony in all the things that you want to obviously achieve. So complementing each other. So on some days, being a mom is going to be more important than me being in the office.
Okay.
And then on some days, being in the office, because I've committed myself to a campaign for digital as a content creator, that's going to be the priority on that day. But again, with the priorities, with children, and we're talking earlier on that with children, they almost make themselves a priority when they wake up.
Ma'am, I'm trying to kick mine out the house. But yes, you're saying they make themselves a priority when they wake up. And that's it. And the thing is, it also, though, keeps us in check.
Yes.
Because I know, we will jokingly speak of how, they're terrorists and whatever.
Yes.
How has being a mom kept you in check?
It really has, outside of just my profession, I think the discipline that is also given me, because now you're having to use all those skills of time management and balancing. And just besides just a legal profession, I chair hearings for a living.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure that chairing hearings versus arguing with a toddler.
I can't win. I don't win. I have got a 7-year-old who wants to reason. The soft parenting. I'm a soft parent.
Gentle parent.
Gentle parenting. I don't even know the term. But gentle parenting, I reason. This little girl requires reasoning. So it's not like you can't do that. She'll be like, why? Then I have to actually explain. Do you remember, have you ever asked your parents why when they said don't do something?
Listen, we also had our why, and the answer I always got, particularly from my grandmother, was Z. Like, why? Z.
Exactly.
And then go fedile.
And then she won't understand. If I ever gave her that answer, she'd be like, I don't think that's the correct thing. I was not asking you about the alphabet. That's exactly that will be her response. So now you're looking at yourself, arguing with your little mini me.
Yes.
So I think they do keep me in check. And even as much as I can be a discipline in the workplace,
Yes.
my discipline fails at some point in the household. But I think it also builds a great relationship with the children, because then I'm communicating with them.
Yes.
I'm giving them reasons. This is why we do this, to get to this. So in my reasoning with her, I'm also trying to teach her, as opposed to, but then obviously then she will push the envelope at certain times.
Of
and then
course.
I have to like step in and be like, no, here I'm your mother now. Like, I'm not going to reason. Here we don't reason. Here, this is it. Go to bed now. Done.
But you know what's so beautiful about what you just shared now? And I was thinking about, I mean, I have a son, I don't have a daughter. But I think the principle applies both ways. Is
Yes.
preparing them for a world where they can stand up for themselves and advocate for themselves.
Absolutely.
Have autonomy over their thoughts and their voices, and to be able to practice it at home where
Yeah.
it's a safe space. How are you finding the balance? Because you probably see the younger version of yourself in your
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
And then there's moments where you're like, oh, Mama, I'm sorry. Was I like that? You know? But how are you finding that balance of when to be firm and when to be gentle, knowing you're preparing this person to be able
Yes.
to live without you?
You know, and I think the tears, sometimes you've been told some tears work to some degree. I've gotten to a point, and I didn't even believe that I'm this person where tears don't work.
Are you
It's-
this person?
I've become that person
Ma'am.
where I'm like, okay, granted, express yourself with your tears, but we're still going to discipline you about what you just did. You
Yes.
don't speak like that.
Yes.
You're not being respectful. You don't have manners. So in the same way that she requires me to reason. So my son is different. The way in which I discipline him is very different to how I do, because he won't chat back. He'll probably just throw himself on the floor and then be very angry and cry. So with him, I give him time to rest,
And cool down. And
cool down, actually feel it all out, cry, hit something if you need to hit something. And then the one time he smashed his iPad on the ground, and I said, okay, well, you must understand, I'm going to stay a whole month and not fix the screen. So no iPad for you, because
you even fix the screen?
after a month.
I wasn't even going to. I was like, that's it. The iPad is gone. Yo,
After a
mommy.
month. It saves me when I'm working, you know. I actually remember last week we were visiting my grandparents in Durban, and I was working from home during my hearing, and she really, really wanted to go to the beach afterwards.
Yes.
So I was like, no, you can go with Granny and Auntie, and but I can join you guys when I'm done at work. She comes with 50 Rand while I'm like sitting there, and she's like, Mommy, please give this to your boss to stop giving you so much work.
I hope you gave the 50. My son has not given me any money. So hopefully soon, and I'll go take it to my boss. But let's talk about confidence. I mean,
Yes.
the hashtag Fem Effect really is about supporting, uplifting women. What does confidence look like to you?
Oh, I think I've got a very unique story in that I was actually very, very shy, and I was raised by my grandmother, who's a psychologist. So to a point that she remembers me at any given point, I would hide behind her skirt. Then she's like, nope, there's going to be a problem here. And that's how I started modeling school, where she was encouraging this confidence and being outspoken and building this confidence and being able to stand and speak, which for me was the biggest gift that she could have given me, because I guess I wouldn't be where I am if I had lacked that confidence. So confidence for me, and it's a joke to some people, because most of my hearings at work are virtual, I will still sit and dress up and wear heels.
As you should, man.
I wear my heels because I get confident when I'm dressed up.
Yes.
I get confident when I'm wearing my favorite heels, and I'm just like, listen, I'm going to listen to you, but you are not going to tell me otherwise, or not be able, or think you can manipulate me in any sort of way. But I feel confident in how I'm dressed, and how I also show up, and in how I respect myself as well.
Yes.
And I think what I really enjoy about the meaning and the initiative of Femme Effect is about that dignity, which is not just a basic, it's not a luxury. It is a basic need. And I mean, it's a constitutional right as well. So having that dignity, and how can you express or even fight for that dignity if you don't have confidence and boldness, and even you're not even aware of that, of that right for yourself.
I'm glad you mentioned dignity, especially because the hashtag Femme Effect by Femagene really is around supporting women through access to intimate care. And we know that that is all about dignity.
Yes.
And I just wanted you, in closing, to share with us what this whole initiative means to you personally.
Yeah, so for me, it was really such a personal thing. I actually used to have an initiative that I used to run, which was related to sanitary pads, which was called Hershima, which is her dignity in Swahili. So I really, really loved it, because with so much access to information, there's also a responsibility in what information is shared, which then can be reshared and which people can actually use. So if an initiatives are like this, who are actually teaching women, and you are also then teaching them and equipping them with this information to be confident in going forward and getting out into the world, and also to not feel, because I mean, if you've got intimacy issues and you've got issues in your intimate areas, that does impact how you show up. It does impact your confidence, and it does impact the person that you actually become, because now you are dealing with this internal struggle that people are not aware of. And I think in sharing and having that access to information, you're also giving room for other women to come forward and speak and be bold and actually work through these things that are workable, and not just something that you are suffering with by yourself.
Thank you so much for chatting to us, and just for sharing your beautiful journey. Where can we follow you on the socials?
On Instagram, it's just Aurelia Nxumalo. On TikTok, it's Aurelia Nxumalo too. There's a lot of other Aurelias there, and they not
She's
me.
the pretty one. Being a woman means showing up through every high and low and still finding your strength. Femagene supports that with pH balanced, intimate washes and wipes designed for your body's everyday comfort and care. And through the hashtag Femme Effect, every product helps provide a menstrual cup to a woman who needs one, along with education and support. So it's about care that starts with you and reaches someone else too. Because when women support each other, confidence becomes a movement. That's the Femagene hashtag Femme Effect. It's just after 2:30.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.